Go away, motherfuckers! Yeah, I'm gonna get. Hello, folks. Welcome back to Ferox Frank Reviews. Yes, it is I, Ferox Frank. I'm just him as Jason Voorhees if he was a New Jersey Devils fan. Actually, you know what? All joking aside, I'm surprised he didn't actually appear at a Devils game once. I mean, or if you go to like the Prudential Center during a Devils game, nobody dresses up as Jason. I mean, you would think they would do something like that, right? You know, like a cross-promotional material or some shit. So, to be fair, the Devils franchise actually didn't begin after the Friday the 13th franchise, so I guess the timing is a little off. But hey, can't hurt for trying, am I right? I mean, my costume makes a bit more sense, doesn't it? I'm Jason Voorhees, and I'm also a Devils fan. Yeah. Fuck it. Money well spent. I'm also wearing a ski mask underneath that happens to be Joe's old mask. So yeah, I improvised my costume. It was either that or dressed up as Michael Myers. Unfortunately, I didn't actually have the financial means to dress up as Michael, so I chose this. I think I chose wisely, don't you think? Speaking of which, so what film am I going to do today for good old Halloween? Well, it's none other than Halloween Resurrection. Start the credits. Let's get this over with. Yep. Halloween Resurrection. Now, I just want to clarify something up real quick, all right? So, Halloween Resurrection was actually supposed to be the second in a trilogy of Halloween films that was supposed to come out that started from the late 90s and was supposed to end in the late 2000s. Unfortunately, the second film, which was Resurrection, didn't do so well at the box office and wasn't really well received by critics. But then again, when the fuck did the critics actually give a shit about a decent slasher movie? You get the idea, right? So, because of that, the third film was eventually dropped, and they actually wound up going with a reboot thanks to Rob Zombie, who didn't originally want to make the movie, and then he was forced to make the sequel, which he had no intention to make, but they forced him to do the sequel, and there was supposed to be a third film of that, and that failed completely. This also didn't help the fact that the whole the Weinstein scandal came out around the same time. So, so Rob Zombie's Halloween 3 was completely doomed from the start, and thankfully we actually had a decent reboot slash sequel in the form of, thank God. Seriously, third time's a charm, right? I mean, seriously, this is kind of weird when you think about it. Like, Halloween H2O, Halloween Resurrection, and there was supposed to be a third Halloween film after that one. It was supposed to be a trilogy of films, but it's like no matter what they do, they couldn't get past the second movie. And you know what? I'm just going to say this right now. I haven't seen this movie in a little while, and after watching it again, I gotta be honest. This movie's very fucking underrated. I mean, yeah, it's a passable slasher movie, but if anything, like I said, it's underrated as shit. The movie takes place supposedly 3 years after the event of H2O, which is a little weird. The film was released in 2002, so kind of weird knowing that it was released in 2002, but yet the movie takes place the year prior in 2001. Yeah, I can kind of see why that didn't work out too well. But is this movie actually good? Well, like I said, this movie is actually heavily underrated. Not the movie, the term resurrection is heavily used a lot in movies. Like a Ninja the Resurrection, Halloween Resurrection, Alien Resurrection. Okay, all joking aside, that the last one I just said should have never been made. All right, seriously, that movie was a fucking masterclass of shit that should have never actually gone past the production stage. I'm being critical. All right, that movie did suck. Okay, so the movie actually begins with with Laurie Strode in a mental asylum, and I just want to keep this in mind. A bit of a fun fact here: supposedly portions of Halloween 3, the Rob Zombie version, was supposed to actually incorporate Laurie Strode being in a mental asylum, and Michael was supposed to come in and try to kill her, and there's like a whole back and forth thing going to like who's the real killer, Laurie or Michael. It's like, yeah. So I'm guessing like maybe supposedly like this whole thing for Halloween 3 may have actually was inspired by this segment of the movie. So, so we see Laurie has actually been institutionalized because we discover a shocking truth. The, this all takes place within the events what happened to Halloween H2O. And in that movie, Laurie did decapitate Michael Myers. Or so we thought. Here's what happened. So officers actually showed up at the scene and they removed the mask to reveal it's just some random guy. It turns out that it was actually one of the paramedics. Yeah, apparently one of the paramedics was Michael Myers the whole time, right? Wrong. Here's the thing. Last year I said this movie actually shot a completely extended ending, but it was cut out at the last minute for sequel bait. Trying to make it like, oh, okay, so what? I don't know why they did this, but they should have kept this thing in the movie regardless. And here's what happened. This is actually all deleted scenes lifted from H2O. I'm not kidding. And the scene is showing that, yes, they removed the mask, but it shows what happened. A paramedic went to check out Michael. Michael gets right up, crushes the guy's larynx so the guy can't talk at all, and he switches outfits. He puts his mask and the overalls on the guy, and he puts the guy's overalls on. He takes the knife with him, and when Laurie actually drives away with the fake Michael, the real Michael just walks away. Yeah, and he walks away into the woods, disappearing into the night. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, they should have kept that in the original. They should have kept that in H2O's original ending. Seriously, it would have set up massive sequel bait because it will be a better ending, in my opinion. Now, I already talked about how much I did like H2O. H2O was my first true Halloween movie I saw, but knowing that we could have had a better ending, which was sequel bait, kind of pisses me off. So yeah, Laurie's been institutionalized the last 3 years. We don't know what the hell happened to John. It's like he's an afterthought at this point, which really kind of sucks. And supposedly there's been a rumor going around that John was supposed to appear in the third Halloween movie, but we never found out what happened to him. It's like he just disappeared, like the rest of the Strode family from the fucking Thorn from the Thorn trilogy that we completely forgot about. Completely ridiculous. Anyway, so Michael actually winds up tracking Laurie to the insane asylum, and of course, there's actually another lunatic by the name of Harold who actually happens to be obsessed with serial killers. Like seriously, he dresses up as John Wayne Gacy's clown character, and he talks about going back and forth to see with other criminals. He goes into full detail what they did and everything. So yeah, Michael actually enters into the insane asylum, killing a couple of guards and a couple of other people. So we don't see some of the kills though, but yeah, he actually winds up going to Laurie Strode's room. Laurie evades Michael. She leads him straight to the roof, where of course she properly tries to hang him and try to drop him. But unfortunately, Michael tricks her, and of course he grabs his knife and she falls, and he stabs her. And he stabs her right in the chest. What's Laurie's final act? She kisses Michael on the lips and says, "Goodbye, Michael," and he throws her, and he lets her go, and he lets her off the knife, and she falls straight to her death, killing her instantly. Yeah. So Laurie Strode is finally dead. Or what? We're not even 15 minutes into the movie, and this actually happened. They finally killed off the main character. What? Anyway, Michael goes back to the asylum, and he actually heads straight into Harold's room, and with his trusty knife, machete in this case, he's holding his knife like so. But what does he do? He gives it to Harold. Yeah. And then Harold actually starts spewing all the information about Michael Myers, although if you've seen the original movies, you know for a fact he got the information wrong. But hey, what am I to bitch about? But whatever. So yeah, Michael actually wants to leave in the asylum, making sure Harold is left to blame. Pretty smart, isn't he? Back in Haddonfield, we're introduced to the new characters this time around. The new final girl character is a girl named Sarah. That's it, and she's not related to Laurie by any means at all. Yeah, and she's not even she's not even from the Lloyd family. She's not from the Strode family. Yeah, you don't know who this girl is. It's like just a straight, brand new girl. It's like, this is our new final girl. Yeah, we killed off the old one. Here's the new one. I can see where they were going with this stuff, but the problem is it wasn't exactly well received, and honestly, I feel like this actress could have done more, but hey. Anyway, her best friends actually tell her the fact that they've actually been invited to do an online, I'm not kidding here, an online show where they actually get to explore the Myers house on Halloween. Yes. And who is hosting the show? None other than Busta Rhymes and Tyra Banks. I am going to repeat that because because it just sounds ridiculous. We have rappers turned actor Busta Rhymes, and we have model turned actress Tyra Banks hosting a show where they're actually having people explore the Myers house on Halloween, where the original murders took place. Just soak that in. All right. Yeah, just soak it in, okay? Oh. It's completely ridiculous, but how do you even come up with this shit? We also find that Sarah actually is friends with an online high school student by the name of Miles, who his name is actually called Deckard, by the way. His online name is Deckard, but thing is, she doesn't know for a fact that he's a high school student. So there's like a semi-romance between the two of them, but they're actually just mostly online friends. She's basically a sophomore in college, while this kid is like, what, a senior? He's not even a senior. He's actually a freshman in high school. Huge age gap. But he's a techno genius, so yeah. Whatever at this point. So all the college kids that were actually invited, they all get interviewed, and Busta Rhymes' character, his name is Freddy, by the way, and I wish I could make a bunch of Freddy Krueger jokes, but no, I'm not going to bother with that. Okay, seriously, thanks to the internet, we already had a whole Freddy versus Michael Myers bit, and it did not end well for Freddy at all whatsoever. If you know the video I'm talking about, you know. So I'm just going to not say anything else about that. So eventually, Freddy actually interviews all the kids, and he's not really happy with the interviews in a sense. But when it gets to Sarah, somebody accidentally drops a light behind her, and it explodes, and it just kind of bursts, and it scares the shit out of Sarah. She screams so loud. Her scream was so loud and high pitched, it actually destroyed a vase right next to somebody. And Freddy goes, "That's what I'm looking for, baby. Yeah." Not even joking. And what does Freddy do? Well, just the night prior, he's watching a kung fu film franchise by, and the character's called Wat Cha Li, or Wang Cha Li, or whatever he calls it exactly. But it's basically one of those. It's basically one of those famous kung fu actors that a lot of people seem to know about. I mean, there's Jimmy Wang Yun, and there's that Malaysian actor that's been in a ton of kung fu films who Bruce Lee actually admired and wish he could have worked with. So yeah, there's a ton of kung fu actors from that time period, though. I would say it's a film by maybe. You know what? I'm not gonna be surprised if the movie he's watching is actually something that the Wu-Tang Clan actually brought over one time. That wouldn't really surprise me. No, Watch Charlie. That's the character's name. Anyway, Sarah comes to see him interrupting his movie, and she says she wants to back out, but of course, Freddie convinces her that the show would suck if she wasn't there because he needs a real person like her to make the show work. So he convinces her. She goes back to her room and goes, "Man, Freddie, pat yourself on the back. You still got it." Oh shit! Watch out! Wait. Okay, couple of things. Who the fuck watches a kung fu film in like the night before Halloween? Okay, I mean, I can understand the fact that it was a horror themed kung fu film. I can buy that, but it's just a regular kung fu movie. Who does that? Seriously. Anyway, everybody is actually at the studio getting ready. Tyra Banks is actually at the house, set up in the garage, actually make sure all the cameras work, while the cameraman inside is actually setting up all the cameras. So anyway, she's getting herself a latte, talking to Freddie on the phone. While this is actually happening, Michael actually shows up, not even joking, he shows up with the camera, he takes the cameraman's stand and actually stabs him with it, killing him instantly, and then drags him off camera. And here's the thing, the camera was running the whole time, and Tyra just missed it at the last second. I'm like, Tyra, come on, seriously? How did you not see that? Ugh. But no, all she can say is when Michael placed the camera down on the floor, it's actually at a perfect angle. Hey, Charlie, that's a great angle. You know what? You are definitely going places. So, anyways, the crew actually makes there, and they actually start filming them online, live on internet show right there at the house for all to see. Anyway, Decker and his buddy Steve actually wound up going straight to a Halloween party because they're the only freshmen who were allowed to go to the party. Because mostly Decker bribed his sister to make them go to the party. So rather than mingle at the party, Miles actually winds up going to the office room. Goes to the office room, turns on the computer, which actually happens to be a flat screen TV amongst all things. So it's a big flat screen TV, and he logs into the whole thing. And and to be fair, I can actually see this really happening. This has actually happened to many times before. Like I was with somebody at the time. We were at a Halloween party. Somebody was watching a scary movie in one room. Everybody started piling in. Yeah. At one point, a couple started making out. Go, "Hey, watch you fucking perfect. Hey, man, hold on a second. I was already in here. You idiots just strolled in here making out. What the fuck? Man, come on. Okay, babe, come on. Let's go." Hey, wait a minute. What's this? This is the live stream of the Myers house. Really? That's tonight? Yeah. Why, you want to watch it? Hell yeah! And as periodically more people start coming in, and eventually Steve comes in too. So yeah, everybody's like fucking watching this shit. So yeah, everybody just starts walking around the house trying to find some clues of why Myers did everything. Why did he kill his sister? Why did he go on that murderous rampage back in '78? And it's completely unknown. Yeah, nobody knows why he actually did it. So they all completely explore the house. And they find a bunch of weird stuff here and there that doesn't make any sense at all. So they don't know what the hell's going on. And one of the students thinks that this whole thing feels like it's staged. Like it's not supposed to be here or anything, though. It's supposed to be here. And at some point or another, some of the contestants like, screw this. They wind up going upstairs getting high at some point, which is like fucking ridiculous. And one of the other girls actually starts to scream her lungs out, and it happens to be the girl from from Battlestar Galactica's remake. The one who was the android? Yeah, it's her. This is before the remake was actually made, so this is before her stardom. Oh, and she was annoying in this movie. She's like annoying as shit in this movie. I know she was like smoking hot at first she was smoking hot on Battlestar Galactica's remake, but in this movie, good God, Michael, please fucking kill her when you get a chance. You've been doing all of us a favor, big guy. You're doing us all a favor, big man. Just do it. Oh, yeah. Anyway, Michael actually starts killing them off one by one, but mostly secretive. Like there's this one guy who was trying to hit on that girl. Yeah, Michael actually winds up killing him and dragging him off the stairs. And apparently, and here's the thing: Freddy and Tyra actually saw something on it there, but they couldn't make it out exactly. And beforehand, as the show was continuing, before people started rolling in, Deckard saw something on the monitor that looked like it was Michael Myers, but he couldn't. But the image was grainy and wasn't clear. And eventually, one couple actually makes it down to the basement, and they make it all the way down to this basement in the secret compartment area, and they start making out, about to do, the good old-fashioned slasher movie premarital sex. All that good old act, right? Wrong. They actually wound up getting hit by a bunch of body parts when the wall caves in. But, however, they're both freaking out until the guy realizes, hey, wait a minute. He picks up a severed arm and he goes, "You know this shit made in fucking Taiwan. What the fuck?" Yeah, so he goes back upstairs, and the girl, as she's getting dressed, she happens to notice there's a sewer entrance right behind the wall. So she goes down there, and she sees there's actually a small room that looks like a bed with newspapers in it, though, and a rat. And it turns out the rat is still alive. Yeah, it's halfly eaten. What the hell? So what the hell is this room? What is it? It's Michael's actual room. Yeah. So we find out that that's actually Michael's real room. He actually wound up sleeping down there, and that's where he's been all this time. He's been hiding down there for over 20 fucking years. That's why nobody can find him. He was in Haddonfield the whole fucking time. Anyway, Michael makes his way downstairs. Michael makes his way into the sewer system and actually stalks her and kills her live on camera. But unfortunately, everybody thought it was a prank. Yeah, they thought it was all shown for entertainment, though. But no, they just saw a live murder. But here's something even more interesting. Before this scene actually occurs, we see Michael Myers actually entering the house from the back door. Starts walking around creepy, and then we see another Michael Myers right behind him, stalking up behind him. The first one turns around and like, "Yo, what the fuck? Charlie, where the fuck have you been, man?" It's Freddy. He's dressed up as Michael Myers. Now, okay, I will give Busta Rhymes this much, alright? A lot of people said he was miscast in this movie. I don't think he was. I think he's actually one of the things that gives the movie a little charm, Now, honestly, he has two good one-liners. He has two good lines in this movie. I'm not going to lie. So, two of the best lines in the movie are actually from him, and this part right here is him cursing out Michael Myers, thinking it's actually his buddy who went missing a couple of hours ago. Alright, and keep this in mind, Michael is just standing there, holding his knife like this, doing his heavy breathing, and Freddy, and Busta's character, Freddy, thinks it's his buddy Charlie. This goes on for at least a couple of minutes, but it's so hilarious just seeing Michael just stand there taking it from this asshole. It's so hilarious. And in the end, you know what happens? He tells Charlie this, "Dude, go out into the garage and with Linda and help her out, man. I left the back door unlocked. Go, get the fuck out of here. Scoot, skedaddle." And what's Michael do? She goes out there. And we all know what happens, though. He kills Tyra Banks off screen. We don't get to see what happens to her until towards the end of the movie. Yeah, that's why we don't see her that much after this one scene. Yeah, from this point on, we don't really see Tyra Banks' character anymore until the ending of the movie when we see her body. And then after that little kill, he actually goes down to the basement and kills the one hippie girl. Now, eventually, everybody actually regroups. However, Sarah gets attacked by Freddy's Michael Myers, and everybody gangs up on Freddy, and then they all kill. And then Freddy yells at them to kill the cameras real quick. They all turn the cameras off real quick. Everybody who's watching is going, "What the hell just happened?" Anyway, Freddy explains this whole thing is just a show, all right? And if they do everything right, they're going to be millionaires by the end of by the morning. They're going to be loaded and rich. So, yeah. That's what this whole thing was. The whole thing was actually just a show, for shock and awe. Brilliant. So Freddy puts the mask back on, and he wants him hiding somewhere in the house. As for everybody else, they turn the cameras back on and go, so what, now what? Well, I do need the money, so now fuck this shit. Sarah says she's out, and one of her friends says she's out. Meanwhile, the girl from earlier who screamed her lungs out the street being a complete bitch, she actually finds the guy who was hitting on her, but he's dead, and she's stoned out of her mind, and she's freaking out. She's on top of the stairs, and they think she's screwing around again. So you know what happens? They go, okay, seriously, girl, this isn't funny anymore. Michael Myers comes out from the corner, ready to kill her, and he goes, okay, Freddy, that's real cute. You can knock it off now, man. And you know what happens? Michael cuts her fucking head off live in front of everything, and they're looking at things. They see her head coming straight down the stairs, and Michael starts walking down the stairs himself. And he goes, "Oh, it's really Michael Myers! Get the fuck out of here!" Here's the thing: everybody who's watching it is actually thinking this whole thing is just a performance. That's what they all think it is. In fact, I'm not even joking when I say Miles actually takes his cell phone out and he calls 911 and he tells them exactly what's happening, but they don't believe him because they think it's part of the show. But he's actually yelling at them saying it's not part of the show, it's real. So yeah, they actually hang up on him. In fact, everybody around actually thinks this whole thing's a show, except for Miles. He's the only one who thinks it's not real. Anyway, this punk guy who actually was trying to get with the girl downstairs, he tries to fight off Michael with a camera stand. Michael actually puts his knife in the wall, picks the guy's head up, and crushes his skull in. Anyway, Sarah tries to make her way up the stairs, but one of the steps actually caves in on her, and with her buddy, who's actually a chef, by the way, if you can believe that, he actually distracts Myers to the point where he actually goes into the kitchen, and they fight in the kitchen. The guy actually has two knives. What you gonna do, Mike? Huh? What you gonna do, Mike? What? Huh? Michael grabs both of his hands, turns his arms around, Lily flips his arms around, stabs him, puts him in the wall, puts him on the door, hanging on the door, and to kill him off completely, he goes into the drawer, picks up the biggest knife he can, and stabs him, recreating the scene from the first movie, with him just looking in the camera like, opens the door and just leaves him there. Wow. I'll give Michael this one. That was kind of creative. Creative. Good one, Mike. So eventually Sarah makes her way to one of the upstairs bedrooms, and she's trying to yell. She sees one of the cameras that yells that this whole thing is real. It's not a fake. It's not a joke. People are actually dying. Then she pulls her camera off and actually says, "Deckard, seriously, I need some help. Are you there?" And Steve goes, "Deckard." Everyone's like, "Who's Deckard?" Wait a minute, Miles, you're Deckard. Miles immediately just cuts the bullshit. He gets on the messenger app. They actually have a Yahoo messenger app, and he texts her, and through the text he tells her to stay calm and tells her where Michael Myers is. And from right there at this point, everybody realized, oh shit, this is actually fucking real. So yeah, so they now realize this whole thing is fucking real. It's the real Michael Myers. This shit ain't a joke. Yes, and I'm not gonna lie, I actually really like this portion of the movie too. The whole portion where it's actually like a reality show, and Deckard is actually is texting her the whole time around, telling her where Michael is, using the cameras, hitting around the entire house. It's like, yeah, this is actually a pretty decent setup for a good horror film. And seeing Michael thrown into this whole mix, yeah, it's working. I kind of like this portion. So yeah, eventually Sarah eludes Michael Myers to the point where where he's hiding in the house. As she continues to trek through the house trying to find a way out, so Freddy actually grabs her and tells her, "Shh, it's me. I just came from downstairs. Everybody's dead. I found this fucking room. The son of a bitch has been living down here for 20 fucking years." So Freddy realizes that, yeah, he morally screwed up, and everybody who's here is now fucking dead. He's gotta get Sarah, He's got to get Sarah and himself the fuck out of there and call the police immediately. All right? Eventually, Michael finds them, and Freddy tries his best to find him off, but he even does like some of the kung fu stuff he's seen from the Watch Ali movies, but it doesn't work out that well. Yeah, he does a spinning back kick, he does kung fu moves on, but Michael just grabs him and throws him around because, well, one, Michael is superhumanly strong, and pain doesn't actually do shit to him half the time. So the guy gets shot. The guy got shot 6 times by a 38 special from the first movie, and he walked it off. Think about that. He got shot 6 times with a 38 special, and he walked it off. And that was over 20 years ago. Think about that. It's fucking crazy. Yeah. Eventually, at some point, Sarah actually wraps around the corner, takes the camera, wraps the cord around Michael's neck, and distracts Michael to the point where eventually Freddy actually kicks him out one of the windows, and he hangs himself. Right, so they actually make their way downstairs, and a message from Decker actually gets to get a message from Decker. But before that, he actually says, "Look, I swear to God, if I'd known, I would have never done this fucking show to begin with." So yeah, Freddy is full of regrets at this point until a message from Decker gets him back on the track. It gets him back on track. Yeah, Michael's still alive. They look outside. He cut the cord. They message Decker like, "Where is he?" And he messages back, "He's in the house." And the camera pans around. He's literally right behind them, and so he stabs Freddy to knock him the fuck out. And he goes after Sarah. She makes her way through the basement, and eventually makes her way to the garage, where we find Tyra Banks' body. Oh shit, that sucked. So Michael makes his way into the garage, though, and here's the thing. Sarah's camera is still on, so he can actually. So when Michael's to scan the room, he looks at Sarah's camera footage, and he knows where the hell she is. She fills out a chainsaw and does practically a shitty one-lining joke, saying, "This is for that, this is for that, this is for that, this is for all of them," in pretty a shitty accent. But I think they needed to do a retake on this one. This is just a pretty bad line. This is just a bad line read. Eventually, the chainsaw just sputters out, and Michael just throws her around a bit, though. And here's another thing too. When she made it into the garage, she actually closed the sewer entrance that was in the garage. But the thing is, the lawnmower that was in there started spewing out gasoline, and of course, Michael just takes it to. And at some point or another, some of the wiring get caught from the chainsaw and causes a little minor explosion, which sets the whole building on fire. And we get several, and I should mention there are several different endings to this movie. One of the endings is kind of dumb, but it's like, okay, I don't know how this was going to work, but whatever. Eventually, Sarah got rescued by Deckard from this point. But it's like, I'm Deckard, and the movie just ends right there. It's like, seriously? That's pretty weak. But anyway, that was just one of the endings. Here, going back to the actual movie, Michael is actually knocked out. He gets back up like he usually does. He grabs the knife. He walks over to kill her, and then on cue, Freddy kicks in the door, and kicks in the door, and he smells probably one of the best. Spots a pretty decent line. He goes, "Trick or treat, motherfucker!" He grabs a garden hose and starts beating the shit out of Michael, doing kung fu moves, but doesn't actually work because Michael actually grabs it while he's Freddy's holding it like this, like No, Michael holds it from the center and just throws him on the other side of the wall. Yeah, seriously, this guy's that fucking strong. Oh yeah, not even joking. God. So what's Michael do that? He's about to kill Freddy, but until Freddy actually pulls out one of the circuits, zaps Michael in the groin area, which sets him back, and he actually gets stuck in the wiring. Freddy actually tosses the circuit breaker. tosses the busted the cut wiring into the blood, which actually sparks an entire which makes the fire go off even more and sets off an electrical current, frying Michael Myers. And he yells out, "Burn, motherfucker, burn!" Okay, it's not exactly a decent one line, but eventually Freddy actually helps Sarah out, actually carries Sarah out, and he says the other good line in the movie, and that is, "Hey, Mikey, happy fucking Halloween!" What? And they roll right out. The whole thing burned. The whole entire set burns down, and the garage burns down, and everybody watched it live on the internet. Reporters came in and everything, and Deckard actually mentions her and saying, "I see you. You survived." And Sarah notices all the cameras. They go introduce her. They actually get an interview from Sarah, and she says, "Thank you, Deckard." But anyway, they start asking her questions about Michael Myers, and Freddy just cuts in and says, Yo, that's enough. The show's fucking over now. All right? Angel, he goes on about saying, gives a speech that Michael Myers is not a human being. He's a monster. He's a curse. He's a boogeyman. But you want to know how I'm feeling? Feel this. He knocks out he actually pushes one of the cameramen over. And to be fair, I'm not going to lie. Let's face it, all of us probably would have done the exact same thing had we gone through the same shit he went through. Now, they take out Michael's body, and, we get another deleted ending in this movie, which is actually, there's actually 2 deleted endings at this point, which, I'm not gonna lie, the first one I'm about to say is pretty stupid. I'm kind of glad they deleted it. That would remain deleted. They actually show Sarah and Freddy that Michael's body, but Michael wakes up and tries to strangle Freddy, and Sarah puts an axe to his head. He says something a little flirtatious. The movie ends right there. Yeah, kind of glad they actually didn't go with that ending. Another one is actually when the FBI agents show up and they actually find the sewer grate where at least in Michael Myers' room. This agent gets close to it, and Michael grabs her from the shadows and drags her in. Which, to be fair, is a little bit of a better ending, but that's not the ending we went with. The ending we actually see is they actually see Michael's body. The coroner's taking him away. They get him to the coroner's office. They go, "Hey, girl, how you doing?" "Oh, fine. Another one? You gotta be shitting me. Hey, you got yourself a celebrity here. That's real fucking cute, you know." "No, I'm being serious. It's Michael Myers." "Yeah. What the fuck?" So she decides to go to open the bag. The mask is basically burned onto his face at this point. So as she's about to check it, his eyes open wide up, and we hear a muffled scream, and boom, credits. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Halloween Resurrection. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it somewhere in between? It's extremely underrated. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this one is extremely underrated. Now you kind of see why it's underrated, because of the fact that Halloween H2O was far superior, and the Rob Zombie remake that came out years later is a little bit more better. But honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I think Resurrection was an okay film. It's a pretty decent slasher movie, but most people actually didn't really give a shit about it that much. But there is something that actually is in this movie that I did actually find that was kind of interesting. This was the first movie I saw that was on. This is the first film I actually watched when it was on DVD. But here's a bit of a fun fact: Halloween Resurrection. One of the special features was that was on the DVD, and it's also on the Blu-ray version. It's the webcam footage. Yeah, if you're not really a fan of this movie, but want something a little bit more interesting, watch the webcam footage. It's 40 minutes. It's literally 45 minutes. It's like half the film. 45 minutes of uninterrupted footage. Yeah, of them entering the house up to the point where Michael actually dies at the end of the movie. So yeah, everything is seen through the webcam cameras and everything. It is really good. It's actually surprisingly good. It's actually, if Michael Myers was actually, it's actually kind of like a found footage style. I actually like that portion. Yeah. As a matter of fact, when it comes down to that, I actually prefer watching the found footage portion of this whole thing. Yeah. As a matter of fact, as the film progresses onwards, we're seeing everything from the actual film to the webcam footage. But the thing is, we can watch the entire webcam footage uninterrupted. Alright? Not gonna lie, kind of prefer watching the webcam footage more than the movie, though. So, if you want to see something a bit more of a treat, watch the webcam footage. You might like it, you might not like it. It's probably on YouTube somewhere. Anyway, that was Halloween Resurrection. Hope you enjoyed my rants, and I will see you all on my birthday, aka Godzilla Day. Until then, y'all take care now, and happy Halloween.